Let me ask you something. When you hear Northern Canada, what comes to mind? Snow, cold, isolation, or maybe nothing at all? Because for many people, the North is just this empty space on the map, a place they've never thought about, never understood, and definitely underestimated. But what if I told you this unknown place is the most powerful, unique, and misunderstood regions in the entire country? Today we are talking about Nunavut, not the version you think you know, but the version you need to understand. Welcome to Grace and Great with Queen, where we learn, we grow, and we tell stories people don't always talk about. And on today's episode, we are talking about Nunavut. Before we zoom in, let's set the foundation. The northern part of Canada is made up of three provinces, let's call them territories. At the far west, we have Yukon. At the central north, we have the Northwest Territories. And at the far east, we have Nunavut. And today, our focus is Nunavut. Now, here is where many people get it wrong. People often think Nunavut is just this one place, this city, this isolated area, but that's not true at all. Just like the provinces in southern Canada have many cities, Nunavut has communities, hamlets. Nunavut is not small, not even close. It is actually one of the largest territory in Canada with approximately 1.8 million square kilometers. Now, let that sink in. But here is the twist. Despite how massive it is, the population is incredibly small. As of recent estimates, Nunavut has around 41,900 people. Back in 2021, it was about 36,858 people. That means you have a land this big with a population smaller than that of many cities. That alone should tell you life here is different. Nunavut is divided into three main regions: the Qikiqtaaluk, the Kivalliq, and the Kitikmeot regions. The largest of this region is the Qikiqtaaluk, otherwise known as the Baffin, which has 13 communities. These communities include Iqaluit, Arctic Bay, Cape Dorset, Clyde River, Gracefield, Hall Beach, Iqaluit, Kimerut, Panictung, Pond Inlet, Qikiqtaaljuaq, Resolute, and Sanirayak. For the Kivalliq region, it has 7 communities, and it includes Aviat, Baker Lake, Chesterfield Inlet, Coral Harbor, Rankin Inlet, Noyat, and Whale Cove. And the last region has 5 communities in total. The Kitikmeot region has Cambridge Bay, Joe Haven, Kugaruk, Talukjuaq, and Kugluktuk. Altogether, Nunavut has 25 communities, and Iqaluit is the capital. Iqaluit has a population of approximately 7,400 residents. That is 15 to 20% of the entire population. Their land surface covers 52.5 square kilometers. So imagine this, a land which is at the center of government, economy, and life in the territory. Yet it still feels small, like a tight knit. That is life up north. Nunavut has 4 official languages: Inuktitut, Inuknatung, English, and French. This alone reflects something powerful. This is not just a place. It is a land that is deeply rooted in indigenous culture, identity, and history. Now, here is where it really gets interesting. If you've ever wondered, how do people make a living in Nunavut? I'm going to be breaking this down for you from number 5 all the way up to number 1, the greatest source of income. So stay with me till the end. We are looking at income sources in Nunavut. And number 5, we have tourism. Yes, tourism exists, even in the most remote and coldest places around the world. And this might surprise quite a number of people. But think about it. People travel from all over the world just to experience the raw, untouched Arctic landscapes, wildlife like polar bears, seals, and even narwhals. The magical northern lights. Yes, those glowing waves in the sky that people dream of seeing at least once in their lifetime. And most importantly, authentic Inuit cultural experience. Now let's pause on that for a second. The Northern Lights alone attracts visitors from across the globe. Imagine standing outside in complete silence in the middle of the Arctic and the sky just starts dancing in green, purple, and white. That's not something you watch on TV. That's something you feel. And that's what makes Nunavut different. This isn't your typical tourism. You're not coming here for luxury or convenience. You're coming here for something rare, for something unfiltered, and for something real. Now here is the reality. Tourism in Nunavut is still small, mainly because it's expensive to get here, flights are limited, and the weather can be unpredictable, but it is growing steadily. Why? Because more people today are not just looking for vacations. They are looking for experiences they can't get anywhere else, and Nunavut offers exactly that. So while it's not the biggest source of income yet, it has big potentials for the future. On the fourth place, we have Inuit art and cultural heritage. This one is deeper than money. When we talk about Inuit art, we are talking about stone carvings, prints and drawings, handmade crafts. And these pieces are not just decorations. They are stories, stories of survival and identity, stories passed down through generations. In fact, Inuit art from Nunavut is recognized internationally and collected in galleries and sold across Canada and beyond. So yes, it generates income, but more importantly, it preserves culture in a world that is constantly changing. It allows Inuit communities to stay connected to who they are while still participating in modern economy. And that balance, it is powerful. Now let's talk about something very traditional, but still very important: fishing and hunting. Fishing and hunting has always been part of life in the North, but today it's not just used for survival, it's also a commercial industry. The main products include, for fishing, Arctic char, shrimps, especially in offshore fisheries. And here's what is interesting. Even though Nunavut is remote, its waters are rich. So this industry connects local communities to global markets. But it is not without its own challenges. Harsh weather conditions, limited infrastructure, short fishing seasons and hunting seasons. Still, it remains a steady and reliable source of income, especially in certain regions. This is a mixture of tradition and business merging together. We are stepping into one of the biggest economic drivers: mining. It holds a second place on our chart today. And Nunavut sits on a wealth of natural resources like gold, iron, and other valuable minerals. And because of this, large mining companies operate in this territory. This industry brings in major investments, employment opportunities, infrastructure development. It contributes heavily to Nunavut's GDP. But here is where we have to be real. Mining is powerful, but it is also complex. Because while it creates jobs and economic growth, it also raises important questions about environmental impact, sustainability, and long-term benefits for local communities. So, it's not just about extraction, it's about balance. And that conversation is still ongoing. And now, number one. This one actually surprises a lot of people. The biggest source of income in Nunavut is not mining. It's not cultural heritage and Inuit art. It is equally not fishing and hunting. It is not tourism. It is the public sector. We are talking about government jobs, healthcare, education, administration. In fact, a large percentage of the population works in these areas. Why? Because in places like Nunavut, services are essential. Communities rely heavily on government support and infrastructure is still developing. The government plays an essential role in everyday life. And here is what this means for you. If you're thinking about moving to the north, your best opportunities will most likely be in healthcare, education, and other public service roles. This is where stability is. This is where the real income comes from. So, understanding this is not just interesting, it is strategic. So, now you see, Nunavut is not just cold, it is not just remote, it is a place of opportunity, resilience, and structure. Nunavut's economy is not built the way you might expect it. It's a mix of culture, natural resources, tradition, and strong government presence. And if you don't understand this, you might come here with the wrong expectations. And this is just the beginning. In our next episode, we'll be talking about something really important, the things you need to know before coming to Nunavut. And trust me, you do not want to come here unprepared. Until then, stay grounded, stay growing. This was Grace and Grit with Queen.